Are we happy?
That we're here a little longer? Not really, but if it's a win, yeah, we're happy.
2 points. A ton of shots. A ton of chances. But they got the win. They found a way to get past a very obstinate St. Louis Blues team. Owen, Craig, John, this is the DLS Dallas Stars post-game show. We start right now. Well, a victory. It wasn't the easiest one, and they had to grind their way through it, but this is the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show, and it's victorious. So you never apologize for a win, right, Luds?
Right. Win is a win is a win.
Alongside Craig Ludwig and our producer, John Anderson, I'm Owen Newkirk. Stars beat the Blues tonight 2-1 in their first meeting of the regular season. Of course, they saw each other for a couple preseason games, but that's neither here nor there. And for the third straight meeting with Jim Montgomery, 3-0 against Monty this year.
How's it going, Monty?
Tough one for him. Well, we will have our full show as we usually do, including our Super Chat segments. So get into that now. Line it up. We'll do that. Of course, we'll do our Herman Marshall Marquee moment a little bit later, our 3 stars. Well, our man of the match. We don't do all 3 stars, although we end up listing 4 or 5 of them anyway. And, of course, we will have some fun along the way. But let's break this one down a little bit as we go back to the opening period, because that's usually a good way to start. And Luddy, this one was pretty close. In fact, if you looked at the numbers, you might think that the Stars slightly edged the Blues in the first period as far as shots and quality chances. But when you looked at the high danger chances and the goals, St. Louis was a better team in the first period.
It started out where you were going, oh, no, not again. And, I think St. Louis played the game that they need to play against a team like Dallas. Dallas, as the game moved along, kind of got their legs and they started to get a little more interior. There wasn't as many one-and-dones. They were following their shots up, and I think they started to wear down. If it wasn't for Binnington, at least as the game moved along, we wouldn't be still sitting here. Boy,
was he good tonight, and we will catalog all of that. You know who had a great chance early that was actually, it was a 2 chance, turned into a high danger, was Colin Blackwell. Decent shot on his first one from the left circle, but he followed it up on a rebound in the low slot, and that was a really good save from Binnington down low, and that sort of set the tempo in terms of how he was going to play tonight.
You're starting to see more from Blackwell, a little more poise. I think in the beginning of the season when he had his role and still has that role, that he wanted to get pucks to the net and, do all the right little things and not do a little extra. And I think now you can see how the confidence is coming back to him. He sat out for, what did he sit out for, 4 or 5 games, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if there was a conversation at that time and saying, listen, we think you have a little bit more in your toolbox here, and you don't have to be just that defensive guy and, shut lines down, that you've got some extra skill out there that I think we want you to find the right place and time. And if that's the case, he's definitely starting to show it.
Is there anything to the fact that because obviously Tyler Seguin is hurt and there isn't really another guy there right now, that maybe takes a little pressure off a guy like Blackwell who knew he was sort of fighting to stay in the lineup?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit more comfortable and not as tight to do the right things all the time. But again, in the same vein as that, we could use a couple extra goals here and there. It's one thing for that so-called fourth line to go out there, do your job, shut whoever you're up against down, get off the ice and end up even or plus at the end is good. But when those kind of players and that kind of identity can chip in a goal or two, or at least create some good quality scoring chances, it's a bonus for the rest of them.
The Blues had 3 really good high danger chances. They all came in a fairly small chunk of that first period, even though they had plenty of looks. It was Parayko with a wide open shot in the right slot that he pushed wide. Then they get a power play. And Justin Falk had a really nice redirection as he's skating towards the net from the left side. Ottinger had to stretch out. I thought that was a fantastic save. And then, of course, the goal, which came after Colin Blackwell made a really, really nice shot block, shorthanded without a stick. Ilya Lyubushkin lost his stick. He went to get it. It got kicked away. I don't know if it was totally intentional, but maybe thinly veiled as such. So then Blackwell hands his stick down. And for a minute, Lud's on this power play. Yeah, if you guys have already had it.
We're breaking it down.
You're ready to go. So the stick, I don't even think that's broken by Lyubushkin. I think it just got knocked. He lost it, and then it got kicked away. I want you to break it down how you'd like, but I had a thought of, other than that shot block, Blackwell, I wonder if he should have just bailed and gone to the bench to get a stick rather than, because they almost felt like they were 5-on-3 anyway. I know he was in a little bit of a deterrent, and he made that really nice block, though.
It's a conversation, and I think there are some teams, some players that will do that. I don't like it. I think that you leave for that split second, and it's going to take you, 5-6 seconds maybe to get all the way to the bench, all the way back.
Even as close as the first period.
It's a little bit easier at first and third because you're closer to your bench, obviously, and the trainers will grab the sticks from where they enter and exit the ice, and they'll run it down to the defensive end, and they'll hand it out there. But even still, it's 5 seconds at least. By the time you get over there and back, a lot of bad things can happen in 5 seconds. So, but there are, and now for that 5 seconds, you're playing 5-on-3. And they've got some people that can move the puck around out there. If it's not a real good power play and don't have skilled players, that's one thing. So, but I think what he did was the right play, because when Lyubushkin loses his stick, he turns around, and that's the presence of mind. And you have to know that, because you want your defenseman having the stick. And so you're a little bit closer to net. You want to be able to sweep pucks out and rebounds and things like that. When he does that, they do a good job where he just kind of stays in the middle, and he's taking the high quality shot away. And he blocked a couple shots in that area. And you can see, if you're watching, you can see here, the puck really does stay on the perimeter most of the time.
This is when Lyubushkin doesn't have his stick.
Yeah.
It's still, Blackwell still has his.
Right. And you see right here is where he's got presence of mind. He takes a step down, hands the stick off to Lyubushkin. And then after that, man, that's a good job by John just slowing it down. It's almost like we can actually do that live. Now what happens is when this puck has to come from down low and it comes out to the top, they're in shot lanes, right? And so they're not going to take a shot where it's going to go through somebody. They move it again, comes back again, and Blackwell blocks a shot. And so he's doing all the right things in this spot. Now I think right here, Jake, when he takes this last shot, Lyubushkin's trying to block the shot also. Again, you're kind of at a desperation. And it's just a great shot. I mean, it goes to the left of Jake on the ice, or not on the ice, but maybe a couple inches off. But after that shot, I think it was tough for Jake to look around through Lyubushkin. But again, you're trying to do whatever you can to keep the puck out of the ice. And so, it's unfortunate with the work that group put in, that it has to finish like that.
Kairu's goal, which is his third straight game with a goal, 12th goal of the year, goes through the body, maybe through the legs of Lyubushkin, and he took a knee to try to block that. So he's trying to make himself bigger. There's no way Jake tracks that puck the whole way. He's trying to take as much of the net as he can, but that's got to be a very small window through the legs, because again, Lyubushkin takes a knee and he's trying to fill that lane.
Well, you can if you're watching, you can see right here, he can see to the right of Lyubushkin right at this moment. But when Lyubushkin proceeds to kind of go down to that one knee, he's taking his body to the right. It's getting in the line of sight of Jake. And after that, I don't think you know where it's going to go short side. And I think he's just going to try to be as big as he can to take it. But again, like I said, it's a great shot. It's tough for Jake to make the save, and again, I feel bad for Lyubushkin too, because he's doing the right thing.
Right.
He's had some bad luck on these things. He's had pucks that have hit him and gone in, and he's six in the right lane. But again, it's part of the territory that you play in as a defenseman. You're trying to do everything you can to help your goaltender, and the odd ones go in the net.
The Stars had a little bit of pushback after that, but nobody had a real high danger chance for the rest of the period. That was St. Louis again, better than the Stars. And Luds, there was a chance. This is our first chance to see Philip Broberg play for St. Louis this year in the regular season, and he's tall. He's rangy. He seems to have a lot of power, a very lengthy stride, and covers up the ice. He got up the ice really fast in one play where he ended up putting it over the net. But we saw Harley do this a little bit later in the game, where he kind of skated and maneuvered and meandered his way around, and all of a sudden he's in the offensive zone. Broberg went for sheer power and just flew up that wing. That you can see why Doug Armstrong went with an offer sheet on him.
Yeah, and then you can see the kind of defenseman he's looking for. I mean, they picked up, another one today in Cam Fowler, I thought had a pretty good game, all things considered. The travel and moving and everything. But like with Broberg, you can see the potential in that kid. I think he had something like 7 points in his last 10 games coming into this, and a couple goals are thrown in there. So, it was a lot of conversation at the time when, Army did that to Edmonton, but it's part of the program, So anyway, I think that what they're looking for is they're looking for some defensemen that can kind of get up and run. And Parayko, I think, was one of their guys. And he doesn't do it as much. I think he's more of a bigger guy that should be playing more at home, but he can get up on the play. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a great find for these guys, as he gets a little bit older.
So the end of the period, Stars out shooting St. Louis 10-7. St. Louis has more shot attempts. They had the slight edge in faceoffs, and they had the game's first 2 power plays. Stars honestly it wasn't a power play goal, but it felt like it was because the Kyrou shot came only a couple of seconds after that first penalty expired. It was Steele that was in the box. So it really was basically a power play goal, even though it doesn't count for one.
Yeah, and you kind of you take it for what you can take it for, but they're looking to get the lead, and then the next team is trying to tie it up, and so especially for St. Louis. I mean, again, they know what they're up against here, and anytime we always talk about the little things that you can try to do when you're in an opponent's building, and one of them is to try to get the lead first.
Well, the second period was completely different because St. Louis went a long time with in the first period. Neither team had a shot on goal for a while, and it took Ryan Suter about 5 minutes into the game. Of course, former Stars Ryan Suter get his first shot. It was a decent chance. In the second period, I had St. Louis for 2 quality chances, and I had the Stars for 16.
What are the shots, like 14-3 or 14-4?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the first, the shots were 10-7 Dallas, and it was 14-4 because it was 24-11 after 2 periods of play.
That's where I think St. Louis kind of felt the avalanche coming down on them, or the start of it, because Dallas was a swarm, and I think that St. Louis probably was going, well, here they come, and and again, Jordan Binnington, he was excellent tonight.
He was. How about that save he made on Evgeny Dodonov? Lyubushkin throws a wrist shot from the top of the right circle. It goes off of Binnington. I didn't like that rebound from him. It comes out to Dodonov in the slot, and he rips one going upstairs on the left side. Binnington able to get a piece of it, knock it away. But the Stars do draw a penalty. They get a power play as Braden Shen goes into the box for puck over the glass, and they did not take very long. I believe it was about 40 seconds or so, 41, for Jason Robertson to absolutely pound a one-timer into the net on the power play, ties it at 1. It's his 7th of the year. It's his 2nd power play goal of the year, both of which are low for Robertson at this point. Steve Spott actually got a close-up on the Victory Plus broadcast on the bench shortly after the goal. But that was quick puck movement, and those are the kind of goals you need a guy like Jason Robertson to go in, because it kind of unlocks his confidence to shoot when that a first one goes in. I noticed later in the game, he wasn't hesitating or deferring. He was shooting.
It's beautiful when a plan comes together. It was a set play, and as much as Robo was skating around the ice and, trying to distribute the puck, and it was a methodical play. And what happened was the coverage for the PK, part of St. Louis's group, they got too loose, and so there was a hole in the middle of the ice. And what I loved about it is when Robo initially got the puck and he kicks it out to, who was it, Miro at the point, He immediately points. He uses his stick to point to his right down to jamiebenn. And Jamie being a left shot on that side of the ice, Robo knew what was going to happen. Miro spotted him. He passes it down to Jamie, and Jamie just one-touches it because Robo comes up high, and he turns, and he's kind of coming from almost the top of the circle to be able to step into a perfect pass that he puts it right on his forehand, and he just lets the shot go immediately. And so, like I said, they practice that play all the time, and the only time it really ever is going to work is when the PK unit, they kind of play along with it, right? And they just got their coverage. They didn't have anybody in the middle of the ice, and it's what opened up that hole for Robo, and he doesn't make a mistake with that one.
So it's 1-1 after 2 minutes and 39 seconds of the second period. We will do the rest of the recap next here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
Founded in 2010, Herman Marshall, Dallas County's first legal distillery since the repeal of Prohibition. Located in historic downtown Wiley, Texas, Herman Marshall is proud to partner with the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas on a single-barrel expression of its signature straight bourbon whiskey. The Guns N' Hoses Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing immediate financial assistance to the families of fallen police officers and firefighters lost in the line of duty. They are built from the grain up through family, fellowship, and friends. So, for every bottle of single-barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas for those who went before. Stop into your closest Goody Goody Liquors and other fine retailers.
Let's talk about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Every HelloFresh recipe includes high-quality, sustainably sourced ingredients like produce that comes fresh from the farm. There's always something for everyone to enjoy on HelloFresh's weekly menu, with 50 chef-crafted recipes to choose from every week, plus customizable options to make your meals just the way you like them. You'll be able to easily satisfy every craving. When I got my HelloFresh box, not only did they have 3 great meals in it, but they also had some variations. So if you wanted to add something a little different, mix it up a little bit, you can do that to customize it to what you like. Save valuable time during the busy holiday season with fewer trips to the grocery store. Thanks to the HelloFresh Market, there's over 100 add-ons, items you can add to your weekly box like quick breakfast, packable snacks, beverages, and more. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free stars applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/free stars. Back to the second period now, and there were 2 more high danger chances and a couple power plays. Matt Duchene, right after Jason Robertson's goal, had a really great look from the low right slot that I couldn't tell if it took a block or just missed wide left. Either way, it was in a really good position. He could have easily scored, as he got a great setup on that. That was one of those plays, though, Luds, that I thought Logan Stankoven should have pulled the trigger and shot the puck. Instead, he deferred. Now, setting up Matt Duchene for a high danger chance is not exactly a bad decision, but I think it goes to show where Stankoven's confidence is right now, in spite of the fact that I had him down for 7 scoring chances in the game. He was very involved tonight.
Yeah, but I also think, we talked about this now for a week or so, that, stepping in and trying to be the replacement for Tyler Seguin, I think he's trying to cater at times to Matt and to Marchment both. And I think that's just one of those times. But he was a lot better tonight at being a little bit more selfish and getting the pucks up to the net.
Stars had a power play after that. This is the one I was talking about. Jason Robertson, after scoring that power play goal earlier, winds up and unleashes a vicious one-timer. He put it over the net, but he didn't hesitate. And that's the kind of thing you see from him when he is on the power play and feeling it. As soon as the puck is on his stick, he's thinking shot.
Well, for me, it's confidence. He's confident now. I think he feels that first one go in, and then he starts feeling good. I can just keep getting him up to the net. I got a couple more going in. You're right. Like, he got a lot on it again, but it was just a couple inches over the bar.
So if you're sitting there wondering, I can't even think of 2 scoring chances the Blues had in that period, because they had very few. As Letty brought up, they only had 4 shots on goal. Pavel Buchnevich had a wrist shot from the low right circle. Ottinger was square to that, made the save. And then Zach Bolduc had a one-timer in the high slot. It looked like it took a deflection. I thought it went wide. The score sheet said it hit the post. If it did, it was glancing off the outside. I thought it just missed the net. But again, those were the 2 chances. Neither of them high danger. The Stars kept coming. Hintz, Duchene. Then there's the penalty where you get Robert Thomas obstructing Mason Marchment, who goes down, and they take them both, including the embellishment call to Marchment. And Dallas had one good look from Harley. He missed the net on a shot as he weaved forward 4-on-4. But what do you think about that penalty and the decision by the officials to take them both there?
When I immediately saw it, I saw Marchment, and it was a delayed reaction when he went down to the ice. And it was only a split second. He's good at it. I mean, we've seen him do it quite a bit. And it wasn't the referee that was in the zone, so to speak. It was the back referee that called it, because they 2 different guys called those penalties. And so that's what happens when you have somebody at a distance that can kind of watch it a little bit slower because it's happening a little bit. You see a little bit more. I thought it was the right call at that time. And right away, Thomas turned around right away.
He barked and said it's a dive. You could read his lips.
Yeah, and I'll say, and he turned towards the end of the building, right, to the net side. The other referee that called it was out by the blue line. So he's not seeing Thomas say that. He's not influencing anybody. So I thought it was the right call only because it looked kind of minor, and for Marchman, who's a big cat, to go down there, I thought it was the right call.
So they play 4-on-4. Then the Stars get another power play because Jake Neighbors got called for hooking. He didn't like the call. He was yelling at the refs, and the ref yelled back at him, just get in the box, which always makes me laugh. And Dallas had a couple power play chances, including Logan Stankoven with a huge one-timer from the left circle. And this was one of Binnington's best saves of the game.
He got it all. I mean, they both got it all. And again, it's one of those things where Binnington, the reflexes and his positioning, it was everything. And again, I look and I think about what's coming up. And I brought this up to you a little earlier, is that, in this Four Nations thing coming up, and you got the general manager sitting upstairs too, and Doug Armstrong thinking, yeah, we made a right decision bringing him in. And again, that could all fall off the side of the table, but for now, he's been really good.
All due respect to Jordan Binnington and the St. Louis Blues, but a couple of Team USA guys hoping that maybe that's the case. But
well, there's no question that there's two really, really good goaltenders for the U.S. team.
Yep. Well, you go to the third period. Stars and Blues are tied, and you're kind of wondering how, because the shots were 24-11. I had 28-12 scoring chances after 2 periods of play. And after the first period where the high dangers were 3-1 St. Louis, Dallas had all 4 of the high dangers in the second period, 5-3. But again, 1 goal on 5 high danger chances.
This would be a good question for the goalie at the other end of the rink. And if you asked Otter, when a game's going on like that and the other guy at the end of the rink is making saves that you probably shouldn't make at times, how do you feel there? Like, when the first shot comes down the next 2 or 3 minutes, whenever it is there more pressure on you to make that save? Because you kind of think, or do you think that you let the group down because everything is getting stopped at the other end?
Well, and I wonder, too, about his energy, because obviously it's not as taxing when you're not facing any shots, but he's also trying to mentally stay focused. I think it's easy for goalies when they're getting a lot of action because they're not thinking about it. They're just making saves. Of course, it can wear you out when you make a lot of saves, but there's got to be some sort of a balance there, I would say.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, that it just seems like there should be 2 or 3 goals going down at the other end, and he's not thinking about his guys not scoring. He's thinking about the guy that and I don't say outplaying Jake, but he's doing that. And so what happens when the next one comes down? I got to make sure I get that save because again, that just lifts that other bench up and going, hey, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the third period, no goals. I thought St. Louis picked up their game a little bit because for a while they really looked like they were anemic offensively. And then, again, as Luddy's been trumpeting it for good reason, Jordan Binnington kept them around. Hintz had 3 or 4 great chances early in the period. Stankoven, Robertson, Harley, all getting it. Jake Neighbors gets a point-blank chance on what turned essentially into a 2-on-1, but it started in the St. Louis zone. And again, I don't think Liam Bichel was bad on the play, but you had a couple of notes where you thought he could have helped Esa Lindell, who was chasing Neighbors down the ice.
Yeah, and again, this is a young player, and he's going to learn. But what happens is that if he doesn't look over his shoulder to see if there's a back checker coming back into the play, he knows that there is, but he doesn't know exactly where he's at because he doesn't turn around and look. And so if he just holds his ice for another second or two, it allows the back checker to get all the way back and pick that guy up going to the net. But his back is turned, so he goes right over and he takes a knee and tries to deter the pass. But that's what allows the scoring chance to happen. And again, it's just like sometimes your job is to buy an extra second or two to get some help to the backside.
The Stars had a great look. Sam Steele had a nice tip play in the low slot, and the rebound came to Brendan Smith in that same area, and he ripped one. Binnington with a really good save. I thought that rebound chance for Brendan Smith was solid. A really good save. That was probably Dallas's best chance of the third period.
Nice to see it was Brendan Smith too. His first, first time getting back in the line, and he was up there a couple different times.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was a surprise. We were doing our pregame show as the warm up was going on, and Nils Lundqvist, who I sat with for about 5 minutes this morning, didn't play.
He was probably fully expecting to play tonight too. It sounds like.
Here's the thing: he looked, he didn't stay out late like a scratch would. Brendan Smith did. He didn't. Now, again, maybe something happened. There is an illness going through the team. He didn't look sick when I sat and talked to him. He sounded like he was fully intending to play. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what we hear from the post game as to whether it was a healthy scratch, an injured scratch, what happens. But yeah, Smith hadn't played since that Chicago game, Leds. That's quite a while now.
And it's just as hard on Smith because, if he doesn't know and if Nils isn't even sure that he's all of a sudden going to be in the lineup. Now, typically with something like that happening, a coach will come up, Elaine, probably the defense coach, will come up to him and say, hey, be ready to go tonight. Nils isn't feeling good, if that was the case.
Right, we don't know. We'll find out. But the Blues did have one more really dangerous play before overtime, and that was Dylan Holloway, who got an open wrist shot in the low slot. Ottinger with a really good save. And for all that time where he didn't have much action in the second period, St. Louis picked it up. They had 8 scoring chances, 2 high dangers in the third, and Ottinger was equal to Jordan Binnington down the stretch.
I think St. Louis, as a group, as that third period's moving along, they're going, hey, we got a chance here to get an extra point tonight, So, but then I think you get to one point where you're down to a minute or so, and Monty's probably on that bench. Let's find a way to steal a point here tonight, and that's what they did.
Yeah, they got to overtime. The Stars haven't done that a lot this year themselves, but in the end, it paid off well. And they had another chance for Logan Stankoven, who had a wide open look from the right circle. One of these days, Luds.
One's going to go in?
It's going to go in. It might have to go off his seat of his pants and in, but he had 7 chances. He now has not scored a goal in his last 12 games.
But that's a player that we've talked about all season so far that, the coaches aren't going to make any moves with that kid because he just does so many other things right.
Did you notice that little skating pivot he did in overtime where he gained the offensive blue line, hit the brakes, and how quickly he exploded out of that stop?
Yeah. And that's what one of his biggest strengths
is. His agility?
Yeah. And
amazing.
His quick feet. Yeah.
Well, then Pavel Buchnevich had a wide open backhand where he gets past Miro Heiskanen and could have easily squeezed in there between Ottinger and the post. It would have been the right post as you face the goal, and he kept it out. But there was a coverage breakdown, and that's, again, part of what 3-on-3 is the more you start stretching out, the more mistakes happen.
Helps to be long.
And it worked.
With them long legs.
Well, then it's like Matt Duchene found a gear that he hadn't been using all night.
No, he set him up.
You think?
That wasn't a gear. Oh, yeah, Duchene.
Because he exploded down that wing.
And he stopped skating a little bit when he got the puck. And, Matt Duchene is hard to play against because he likes to pull up and hit guys coming late and find a little open ice. And it was like a running back. They got that little stutter step and then they got that high hop that get him going. And I think what he did is he set him up a little bit because as a defenseman, you're like, he just stopped his feet. So you don't keep skating backwards at the same speed. You kind of slow up a little bit because you want to keep your gap. And when he turned it on and then he gets the edge, and in today's game, you can't do anything for the most part. But that nice little move where he takes the puck from his backhand, puts it between the feet and the stick of the defenseman, and one motion goes to the far side with it.
I mean, the quickness to get that release off once it gets to his forehand over the blocker or over the pad under the blocker of Binnington, it was so fast. It felt like the goalie was still trying to react to a moment before the puck was even there. And so as it goes into the net, that's one of those shots where the goalie is still in his motion of trying to make a save when it hits the twine.
It's funny. I can't even believe I did it at the time, but when Hitchcock was coaching in Edmonton, I had talked to him one day and I said, Hitch, I think you need to work with Connor McDavid. This is how bad it was. I said, I think you need to work with Connor McDavid because when he would come back into his own zone and he picks the puck up, somewhere down just below the tops of circles, and in 3 strides, he's full ice. I mean, he's gone. And I said, if you could get him to slow down a little bit through the neutral zone, because if he's going full speed by the time he's at the defensive blue line, and then by the time he gets to the offensive blue line, the defenseman typically has his gap straightened out. If you could get him to get going, then slow down a little bit. Now the defenseman, like I said, has to adjust speeds a little
hesitation.
bit. Well, you kind of slow up a little bit, and then he's got them 2 strides where he's gone. Well, it hasn't bothered McDavid at all.
No, it's worked out for him.
He just blows by people. But that's kind of what I was talking about with Duchene. When he got in the neutral zone, he just kind of saved a little bit. And then when you get people to kind of go, okay, well, what's he going to do? And then it's that part where it's, what's he going to do? Is he going to go east or west? He takes off.
Well, it was very effective. Duchene's 13th goal of the year is the overtime winner. Stars get the victory. They, as I said at the pregame show, they needed that just to be at 5-5 in their last 10. But it's a division game. It's one where they had a ton of chances. And look, you don't want to get goalied. It happens, right? And Binnington was really good tonight.
He was great.
But Oettinger was really sharp as well. And he made sure that when the time came, he didn't let that one puck get it past him that cost them the game.
Big saves at the right moments.
Yep. So that's our recap. As the Stars get the win, Oettinger continues to be super effective on home ice. And for the season now, 15 wins. That's 15 of the Stars' 18 victories coming with Jake in the pipes. Let's get ready to Super Chat here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
But first, let's talk about Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features is its ability to always float upright. Crafted to handle the toughest environments, these coolers are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating. The coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. So head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
Let's talk about goals for a minute. How are you tracking with the ones that you set for your business earlier this year? Are you close? If not, do you know why you haven't hit them yet? Well, you have year-end goals, and Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to make your marketing run smoother. Sell more, raise more, and build more genuine relationships with your audience with Constant Contact's suite of digital marketing tools, all made to fast-track your success. Connect with over 2 billion people on social media with an all-in-one tool for posting and sharing. Own the smartphone by adding texting to your marketing strategy. Sell more online in less time with Constant Contact's powerful e-commerce tools. Get all the automation, integration, and reporting tools that get your marketing running seamlessly. Time to put the go in your 2024 business goals with email, socials, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to constantcontact.com/allcity and start your free trial today. Go to constantcontact.com/allcity for your free trial. All right. It's time to chat it up. If you are watching us live on YouTube, you can get in the chat. If you'd like to get to the head of the line, hit up the Super Chat. Look at Luds with the live read, says Kevin Gray, our own KG. All-star level read, Luds.
Kevin, haven't you been paying attention? Please. That was 2 of them tonight. Not 1, 2. Overworked.
Well, I just appreciate that our Mavs host, Kevin, is in the Stars tonight, which is always a nice thing.
Bing bong.
Oh, we got a bing bong. Let's get it going. That is a Bishel, and he's going to do this every time now because he wants to see the graphic. A steal from Ardell. If Dallas wants to be a puck possession team, was tonight emblematic of how they want to play? It says, is that supposed to say a little like they had the puck
I think
a lot?
Says it felt like they had the puck. Yeah.
It felt like they had the puck a lot at 5-on-5 and 3-on-3.
I think Dallas has always wanted to be a puck possession team. That's their game, is to keep it. And I think that's why you see this team. There's times when I'm like, man, you got to make sure pucks get deep and got to make sure pucks get out. But I believe that their philosophy is, if we have it, why do we want to get rid of it and then have to get it back again? And they've got puck possession players. So this is exactly who they want to be. They want to be a team. The only time they really consistently, I think, get it off their stick is when they want to flip it, you know, and you watch the flipper out of their own zone and they're good at it. Essa's unbelievable at it. Miro's good at it. They all do it. But what it does is when as a forward, when you see that defenseman is right near the zone goal line or the bottom of the circles, they take off. And so there's two guys flying into the neutral zone. They have the perfect distance on it. It always lands somewhere around the face-off circle. And as a defenseman, you have to respect the speed of those guys coming at you. So it almost eliminates that one or two breakout passes from your own zone.
Yep.
And they take off, and before you know it, they've got an outnumbered rush. So long-winded, yes, they want to be a puck possession team.
Texas Twist sent this in. Much like you said, Luds, on 5-on-5 the other night, Robo seems like if you give him a static point on the power play, he's much more lethal.
Yes. Well,
he's smiling because he told me this off the air before we got on the show tonight.
Well, see, and what I think, and again, his speed is what his speed is. And if you're playing with a couple fast line mates that get up the ice and want to take pucks to the net like Rupe does and like Stankoven does or anybody else he's going to play with, it kind of leaves him out there and he doesn't get into the offensive zone to have time. And that was the difference when he played with JP. So
nice.
So what JP did is when he got inside the blue line, he would slow things down. And it would kind of like Duchene does at times. And I had even said it tonight. I mean, how would Robo be with Matt Duchene? Because Matt Duchene typically comes in and he pulls up and he hits guys coming late. And when you play with the two guys that you are with right now, when Sagan's not there and you know, or not Sagan, but that other guy.
I don't know who you're referring to.
He's kind of. I didn't say anything yet. He's kind of outside the blue line, and by then the play is already happening. Tonight on the power play, it's a little more static, so he can roam around a little bit. He can find that open ice, and he gets his chances.
As much as we're avoiding the ding, I just want to laugh because there have been a couple instances over the last day or two where somebody reached out on social media and mentioned him, and then put in quotations "ding." So they're getting used to our bit, and so they're sending it back to us, which I love. So keep it up. We'll see if we can avoid it the rest of the night.
Bing,
but if
bang.
we have to, we have to. All right, next one. Super chat. A little Brendan Smith and Colin Blackwell from D-Stars Die Hard. Blackwell hungry tonight. He's fighting for his spot.
Yeah, I think you're always fighting for your spot. I personally.
Did someone say spot?
Not that spot.
Only one T on that spot, not the two T's.
You know,
but he is though, because
I think you always have to fight for your spot in the lineup.
You've got Beck,
listen,
and you've got Blackwell.
Okay, I don't think you're fighting for a spot. No disrespect to Maverick Bort right now. You know, I don't.
Just based on his play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Colin Blackwell, penalty killer, energy guy. He's got some skill. He takes pucks to the net.
Did you notice the crowd reaction on his shot block without a stick right before they scored?
And see,
people stood up.
That's what you love is when you're that kind of player, because you go, they understand, they recognize that. You know, that's kind of what you're looking for, because you're not really recognized for like what Sagan and Robo and those guys are. So it's nice to hear that roar.
It's a shame that Blackwell, that they didn't finish the kill and clear it.
Yeah.
Because they stood up. The crowd started to really feel excited about that hustle play by Blackwell. And if they're able to get out of that without giving up, the place would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
And they would have cheered the end of the penalty kill almost like a goal. Unfortunately, St. Louis had the composure and they scored.
But he's got to be hungry. Beck's got to be hungry. Those guys all have to be hungry, because they are where they are and they know that there's other people lurking around.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking to a scout who's a friend of mine. He scouts for a different team, not the Stars. He was at Cedar Park last night. He did the game Thursday here against Nashville, went and watched the Texas Stars play the Chicago Wolves last night, and then back up here, it's a little 3-3. They worked their butt off. And he told me that, I said, anybody stand out? He said it was a really good game. It was a 5-4 Chicago Wolves win in overtime. Magnus Hellberg, who backed up Ottinger tonight, was the goalie of record for the Stars. And he said that Ritzkovian, the kid that the Stars called up for that backup, it was just in the on the road trip, the last one out west, where he was up for one game and then didn't play. I think it was the Utah game, if I'm not mistaken, because we weren't sure if Stankoven was a go or not.
Right.
We thought we
he
would.
was coming back
but
from the foot or whatever.
They called up Ritzkovian anyway. The point is that scout told me he looked really good. So there's a kid that's knocking on the door, and if there's any drop-off, you can obviously call someone up. So, yeah, I mean, Letty, you always joke about it and say that you were fighting for your ice every night. In your entire career, you always felt like you had to earn it. But these guys, like Blackwell's not a rookie. He knows what's at stake.
Well, and don't think that word, everything that you just said, doesn't travel.
Oh, yeah.
So guys like that, they hear it. And they're like, okay, there's somebody nipping at my heels. I got to make sure I keep doing the right things. And he's got a bit of a leg up because he is we noticed this early in the year. He's a good penalty killer. Like, he knows what he's doing. And I thought him and Steele do a great job when they're the lead pair that goes out there. If they're able to, I think they do a great job.
They're really smart with how they get the lanes and they cover the ice. And then, of course, can get it out of the zone quickly. So thank you for that super chat. That was very appreciated.
One more super chat.
Bing, bang. Got another one. All right. A little Madonna and Stanley Cup year from I Love Misty 1985. What a heck of a finish. Great to get the 2 points since I thought the Stars played a sparkling defensive game and Ottinger should have gotten the 2 points had Blackwell's stick not break. I mean, he could have easily had a shutout tonight if it weren't for that moment. And the fact that the only goal St. Louis scored, and granted Dallas didn't give them much, but it came from almost a pseudo 5-on-3, the end of that power play. Do you remember, I don't know if you ended up seeing it or not, I was telling you about this, when it was right before Drew Bannister got fired, he was the full head coach of the Blues, and they hired Monty. They lost to the Islanders the day before they fired him. And Pavel Buchnevich did an interview post-game, and he was really blunt about their inability to create offense. Talking about, we spent so much time focusing on defense. We need to focus on offense. We can't score. And he was really honest and blunt about it. Well, the Stars defense didn't show much of anything for the Blues, except for a couple moments. But, overall, they gave up 21 scoring chances. They outshot them by a ton.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good night.
I wonder if he's going to say the same thing tonight.
You think?
Probably not.
No?
Got a new coach, and that coach has got a 5-year contract.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it?
Next guy on the move may be yourself.
Well,
although he probably may not mind that. You never know.
I mean, I said this in the pregame show, but I have the stat here. Monty, since coming into St. Louis, has a record of 5, now 2-2. 12 points, counting tonight, and in their first 9 games. That's pretty good. 9 out of 8, or 12 out of 18 points.
Yeah, when you have a team that's kind of the middle of the road kind of team is trying to, get their younger players up and running here in the next year or two, and Army's trying to kind of buy as much time and hang around. That's what you're trying to do, is hang around.
I'm glad you brought up Doug Armstrong because you've known him for a long time, right? And he had a comment, and I was writing some of his stuff down when he met with the media this morning. And I mentioned to you the comment about Nick Leddy and that he's been out for basically day-to-day for the better part of 2 months, and that wasn't fair for the rest of the D-core. And I mentioned about how Suter's almost turning 40, and they don't know if it's sustainable to have him be playing that many minutes as he did. And he felt like he was taxing a small group of his players too much. But then the other thing he said, Luds, and this was really interesting, he said, we are trying to stay competitive and push. We don't believe that bottoming out is good for our organization. A 7, 8, 9-year stint in the bottom of the league, that's not good for us. And I think I was paraphrasing that last part, but he was essentially saying some people might want them to do a full tank teardown, and he does not feel that is something that they can do.
Army won't do that.
Do you need a lozenge, Luds?
Well, no, he has a lozenge actually. He's working on it.
I need a Miller Lite.
He's just fighting through.
I need a Miller Lite.
No.
I need Miller.
He's just teasing you now. You need a water?
You got one? No.
There's beer.
What Army's trying to do is keep the fans happy too.
Yep. We need a moment. So clear your throat, and we will do.
Where are we going?
Are we there yet? We're a little early. I think we're a little early.
Well, the drop dead thing isn't for a few minutes.
Okay.
But if we want to just vamp for 2 minutes while Luds clears his throat, that's also possible.
Wait, what drop dead?
Well, no, we were going to do the Die Hard read, but I think I'm a couple minutes early. But I was just trying to save you. Like, you want to keep going?
Oh,
Okay.
Power through, man.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So tell me more about why Doug Armstrong doesn't want to do a full teardown.
Well, I don't think you want the
There he
fans to be
is.
in that.
Get him some whiskey and honey, says need more cows.
There you go.
Yeah, see, he wasn't thinking about it. The Herman Marshall to the rescue, lads. Yeah, why not, right? I need another super chat. I think we should do that too. They're very much enjoying the I need a Miller Lite. Ardell said, quick, get that man a glass of vitamin D whole milk. KG said, give Lud some water. I think Lud needs a shot of that Herman Marshall.
That stuff will clear you out.
I Love Misty said, I got 7th in Turbo Trivia about Busch beer, even though I don't drink beer.
Wow.
He sounds like when you two won't get this. Yeah, he said Lud sounds like when SpongeBob was dehydrated right now. Water, Sandy. I need water.
It's just a stop.
I don't know
moment.
SpongeBob.
I know you don't. Sorry, I don't have any Ren and Stimpy references in my back pocket. Oh, but you don't know that either. But you do know them. You have heard of them.
Move on.
All right. So Doug Armstrong can't tear it down. I'm going to give you one more chance to answer it.
He can tear it down.
Or doesn't want to tear it down. Why?
He's buying time for 3 or 4 young guys to get up to speed. That's what he's doing. And I don't think you want to tear it down. In St. Louis, he doesn't want to take 10 years to What are we doing with Anaheim and San Jose, right?
Right. Well, look at Chicago.
He doesn't want to do that. I think he wants to stay competitive, keep everybody hanging around the playoff picture, and I think the fans appreciate that. To be honest with you.
Please don't get sick, Luds. Lud's sounding like he's got the flu.
Oh no, that ain't the flu.
And now they're singing songs and all sorts. The chat's having a grand old time.
You know what it is? It's power washing and staining your deck out in the woods.
Yeah.
And what's the cedar count at? Like 9.7.
You're saying that the allergens in Texas are your friends.
Awful.
What were you sniffing the wood finish?
Been doing it for 2 weeks.
Ardell wrote in, I wish the NHL would go to 8-minute overtime.
Oh, please. You know how long we'd be here every night?
I love the fact that 3-on-3 has cut down on the number of shootouts. Because as much as the shootouts are fun to watch, I think they're awful as far as deciding a team game, right? Basically, a one-on-one skills competition drives me nuts. Would you be to – no? All right. Okay, then we'll break right now. I'll ask him afterwards here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. And instead, we're going to talk about being a diehard. Or just give Luds a minute to catch his breath. He's fine. But you should definitely be a diehard. Why? Because, well, there's so many perks to it. In addition to helping support our show and all of the shows here at DLS, you can also get wonderful options like a free t-shirt every year you subscribe. Luds is wearing the flag DLS shirt right now. It comes in multiple colors. That one I have. I've got the navy. I'm waiting for my Dallas Stars green one, which I ordered.
Oh, don't wash it, though.
Oh, yeah?
I was wearing that one tonight. No bueno.
Oh, is that like the old North Dakota jacket?
Oh, my God.
Gets a little...
Oh,
you're saying keep that one...
Shrunk right up on me.
Yeah, that's the problem. You got to make sure you keep them. They're very soft, but you might be a little
They're
delicate
awesome.
with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice material, but you might want to dry them on the rack instead of in the dryer.
I think let them hang outside.
Yeah.
In the cedar.
In addition to that, you can get all the access to the stuff that's behind the paywall, the writing from Sean and Sam. By the way, Sean will be back this coming week. He's on a cruise right now. We showed that photo last game. He was in Belize, supporting the Belize Bruins or something that he found, which was silly. All of that and much, much more. Thank you to all the diehards that have signed up. It's really, really fun. And as we continue to grow here at DLLS, we will have more events that are exclusively access only for diehards, like get-togethers, watch parties, maybe even a ticket takeover. What do I mean by a ticket takeover? Actually going to a Stars game with us. I know would you like to go to a Stars game with the diehards?
Are we going to have to do a post-game show?
Probably, I don't know. We would do it from there.
Yeah,
wouldn't we?
I believe we would do it from a watering hole within the direct vicinity of AAC.
How about
or
that?
you could get on a scooter like Owen does, and you can come
as long as
back
we're getting
here.
in the alumni suite.
We could do that.
We could do that.
Wouldn't that be interesting? A little post-game show from the suite?
It'll be interesting, I'll guarantee you.
Yeah, there's always, the alumni always make it interesting. But anyway, scan the QR code on the screen, or if you're listening, go to alldls.com, select Die Hard, sign up today if you haven't already. We appreciate the support, and you also get a huge host of benefits. Okay. Before we get to our other things, I wanted to ask Luds about the 3-on-3 overtime versus the shootout.
Shot clock.
You want to add that so that there's...
I do. I can't believe I say that. Well, I just think...
Would you go shot clock, or would you go, you can't touch up past the red line?
No,
Or blue line even. Like a backcourt in basketball.
I don't think anything's going to happen, but I just wonder if once the puck crosses the offensive blue line, you have a shot clock, and you can't go back out.
Yep.
And whatever it would be, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever it is, that's what I...
Don't you think just not letting them back out of the zone would be enough where they'd get caught somewhere?
Yeah.
I'm not against your shot clock. I'm curious if you feel the need to do both. Because the thing is that when 3-on-3 first happened, it was wonderful because it was absolute chaos. And what did they say? I remember when Lindy Ruff was still coaching the Stars. Coaches will figure a way to ruin it.
They figure a way for every rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's their job.
Yep.
Their job is to devise ways to ruin that because it is safe for them to not give up scoring chances.
They're not ruining it. They're just trying to find a way to creatively get the right end.
They're ruining it. 3-on-3 is great when it's chaos. When a guy shoots and misses the net and it brings a 2-on-1 the other way and we get end-to-end hockey, it's wonderful.
Okay. So,
But I guess my thing is, and why Ardell said 8 minutes, I'd be okay with extending it to 7 or 8 just for the chance to have it be decided in 3-on-3 more than in a shootout.
see, the only problem with all that, wear and tear on your good players.
I'm getting a frog voice again.
Sorry, I can't take this seriously.
I'm trying really hard to save Luds, and what I should be doing is stepping away so that we can get this clean
Do you
audio.
want me to go get you like a water or something from the fridge?
I told you, Miller
There's
Lite.
no Miller Lite in the fridge. That's gone. There is beer.
I'm going to go find out.
KG, if you're still in the chat, if that beer is left over from
Is that
your
Shiner
show,
Light still up there? He's going to try his best. So I'm going to go to the chat for a minute because why not? Text to us.
Can I pay this off, Owen? I believe this was the first chat of the night.
John wrote Tomahawk City, baby.
Tomahawk City.
We do take requests for audio drops.
Drop
in the chat,
requests?
by the way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you for diehards like Ardell, you made a graphic.
Yeah, we'll take
the Man of
requests.
Steel.
I don't know if somebody made a great request for a drop. And hold on, let me hit. Is he okay?
No,
I know the mics can't pick him up right now.
We're hearing a lot of noises as he goes up to the upstairs
Like I'm hearing
kitchen.
like a cough. I'm hearing a nose blowing.
He's dealing with a lot of allergies.
What was I going for? All right, we need the Man of Steel. Yeah. Somebody requested. I need to go back and find it before we did that Die Hard read. Lud said, and I believe we got it clean. Quote: I need a Miller Lite. So that's an audio drop waiting to happen.
We're gonna try to get that. Okay.
I'll try to find it. I don't know if I believe Lane said it. I don't know if Lane's Die Hard or not. I'll find that out. Check the credit card statements.
I'm just looking at. Let's see. Jason said Luds is dying. He'll be a zombie by the end of the show. If he comes back and tries to bite me, we'll have a problem. But other than that, I think he's okay. Hey, he found something. Is that going to get you back on track? Yeah, I think it is. Miller Lite. T Farmer wrote Miller Lite cough syrup. KG said it might still be up there. Luds is in his Kermit arc, according to Lane. That's a good one.
Shiner Light is the cure.
You're back.
I'm back.
You sound much better. Is Luds dealing with an upper body injury? I love Misty.
Not anymore.
The sky is not falling, said T Farmer. And then KG said he needs to take more of that whiskey to the dome.
To the what?
The dome.
What's the dome?
It's a great question. I'm not sure. Is that the head?
That would be your head.
To your head? Whiskey to the dome?
Yeah, your dome.
You know, you take one off the dome.
Why take the whiskey up there?
Well, drink it. Maybe it'll go to your head.
Not that my head that's the problem.
I Love Misty wants
My
to
liver.
request a ding for the JP reference. I think that was a creative way to sidestep.
Yeah, but now we're going to
ding.
include that in the dings, aren't we?
Well, that's the motion on the table. I believe a 2/3 majority, we can shoot that down.
Okay.
Right?
JP is legal.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't vote for that. So I think I think it would be funny if we had like a separate dumber sounder That
you hear
was
that?
the sounder for when one of you is trying to get around the original sounder.
I believe our dictator here is saying that he has autonomy to do what he wants. And
It's like
so
an
that
obstruction.
we don't
penalty.
have votes. Obstruction penalty. All right. Luds, are you good to continue?
I'm good.
Okay. Let's do
Until I'm not.
the Herman Marshall marquee moment of the match, of the game. Pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody liquor store.
Wow. What was the biggest moment of the game?
Matt Duchene.
There you go. Matt Duchene, change of gears, and the finish. Dookie.
For every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenue to the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas. For those who went before, stop into your closest goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle. Now we turn to let's do our man of the match. It's Jordan Binnington for me.
Bang.
He was the best player on the ice for the
100%.
St. Louis Blues and the Dallas Stars. If you had to pick the best Dallas Star tonight, who would it be?
A little Stank was good. I mean, Robo was noticeable.
Scored a big goal. It wouldn't get to overtime without that goal.
Let's go Robo for me then.
Okay. I like
You?
that. Yeah. I mean,
We got to start giving some Robo some love. I think he's a little tender once in a while.
I think he is a little
Yeah.
sensitive and needs it. Robo was good. Stankoven had 7 scoring chances. Duchene had 5. Hintz had 7. He was flying around tonight. But Binnington was so good. The only other one I wanted to maybe suggest was just Jake Oettinger, just for dealing with, again, he had a very good stat line tonight. I believe his final stat total, he only faced 16 shots, but he stopped 15 of 16. And those gaps, those lulls between action,
Yeah.
basically most of the second period.
You know who I'd give honorable mention to?
Who?
Essa Lindell.
Why?
Man, he got shuffled around a lot tonight. After the first period, our giant, Leon, he was having some trouble with some foot speed, mainly Jordan Kyrou. And I think tonight, when he was playing with Essa, they were trying to say, let's see what he can do.
Testing him.
Yeah, testing him, which is what you're supposed to do. Let's see what we got early. And Kyrou's speed hurt him a couple times. And after the first period, there was Kyrou twice and then Holloway, and he just missed a couple checks. Off of face-off, there was a little, little confusion. Maybe Duchene picked up the wrong guy. Again, little things that are all going to be worked out. So Essa was there, and then Essa was here, and then Essa was there. And so Essa played a great, quiet game, and being able to juggle in and out, going with different partners. And there's probably times where he wasn't up, and the coaches are pushing him back, get out there. So, and he was just some steady self.
Robo had 2 points tonight. He had the second assist on the Duchene goal and scored. Lindell had the primary assist on Duchene's goal, who was out. Nice to see us out there in 3-on-3.
Yeah.
How about this, though? Miro played 27-49. Harley played 27-46. Essa played 23-54. They 8 minutes tonight. And when Doug Armstrong was talking about that's not sustainable for his top 4, I don't think that's a sustainable thing for the season, but for tonight it worked.
Well, for Harley and Miro, who were together quite a bit tonight, or as much as they
They
could.
played almost half the game.
Well, what they were doing is they were playing against 2 lines. I mean, when Thomas got out there, they had Kyrou away from each other.
Yep.
So they were kind of back and forth, and then when they put them together, they out there all the time. So, the big 3.
Thanks to everyone who joined in on our television platforms. Make sure to like and subscribe here on the pod and check out alldlls.com. Okay, back to the show as we wrap things up here tonight. The Stars will play the Washington Capitals Monday. Pregame shows at 6:15. Luds, they needed a win tonight. They have a day off tomorrow. Then they'll come to the rink and get ready to play a good Caps team that they will see for the second time. It doesn't seem like Alex Ovechkin is going to be ready, but he might be traveling with them. He's getting closer, and it's kind of exciting and crazy that he's going to be that close already from the injury he suffered. Seems like a fast recovery, doesn't it?
I kind of, in a way, hoping that he would play because he hasn't been there. They're playing without him. They're winning without him. They've got their team and their game running in the right direction. Now, when Ovi comes back, are we going to be – not that they were when he was there, but there's going to be some focus on, the goal record. So, and when a player comes back in the lineup, sometimes there's just – you're not running at the same that you have been. So, right now they're a heck of a hockey team, and they've got guys that are playing well that I don't think a lot of us expected them to. They're getting the goaltending, and they're keeping the puck out of their net. So they're right at the top of the league right now, unexpectedly, I think. For a lot of us.
Have 44 points, which is the most in the Eastern Conference. Only Winnipeg has more at 45 right now, although Winnipeg has played 3 more games than the Caps have. They are really, really playing well, leading the Metro Division, have the best record in the Eastern Conference. 21 wins, 21-6-2 in their first 29 games. They've won 4 straight games. They beat Buffalo tonight. Isn't everybody. But either way, that's still a very big thing for them. And it looks like the schedule will play out pretty well for both teams because, Washington will travel tomorrow. And they have a back-to-back Monday, Tuesday at Dallas Monday, at Chicago Tuesday. But they will be as rested as they can be after playing tonight and traveling tomorrow to play the Stars on Monday.
And it'll be another one of those games for them, measuring stick kind of game. Regardless of where they are in the standings right now, they know Dallas is a good team, and they want to be able to show that they can come into a building like this, and Dallas has a good home record and put the right kind of game out there. And
lastly, for the Stars, as they play the Caps tomorrow, it's a steady diet of Eastern Conference teams this week at home. It's Washington on Monday. Special note, 6:30 start, not 7 on Wednesday. I imagine that's got to be for Canadian TV. Toronto is in town.
Is that a Wednesday game?
It's a Wednesday night game.
Isn't that TNT stuff?
No, it's Victory Plus.
Oh.
But I wonder if it's for the sake of TV in Canada, maybe on Sportsnet. They didn't want that game to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time, so it's at 7:30 instead. And that's just a guess. Maybe I could be completely full of it. And then the New York Rangers are in town on Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they play 3 straight Eastern Conference teams: Caps, Leafs, Rangers. At the beginning of the season, you would have said that's going to get harder as the week goes along, but it's actually maybe the other way around.
Yeah. Well,
Rangers are absolutely reeling right now.
Yeah. I think the general manager may have spoke a little too soon, and about moving a couple players, and now it seems like it's could turn into a fire sale.
Well, it should be interesting to say the least. And I do want to give one more honorable mention. Shiner Light.
Oh, dude.
Saved Luds tonight here in the back half of the show. I don't know if you would have made it otherwise. It was dicey for a minute.
Is either this or the rest of the Herman Marshall?
Let's give it to them both. Herman Marshall and the Shiner.
There's the man of the match and Marquee moment.
Marquee moments right there. Any final thoughts on this one tonight as we say goodnight?
No, I think it was a good win. Maybe it was an ugly one, but like I said, a win is a win. And they recovered a bit from the Nashville game.
I'd like to say once again, Sam, get well soon. We miss you, bud. And
I'm going to take a couple days off, like Sam.
Our Caribbean cruiser Sean should be back in the fold next week as well. So, and because he took a week off, he owes us a couple of shows. So we're going to really make him earn it back.
We gotta get him in here.
Yes.
Like in the studio here.
Yeah, we do. It would be a lot of fun to get Sean here and on the ice too. Remember, we always have a goalie when Sean's around. So we do. So it would be fun.
Is he a good goalie?
I'm sorry, the Chad has me rolling right now. I can't put any of this on the screen.
Come on, put it on there.
I can't. Owen, look at it and tell me. If Owen tells me to put it on the screen and I can say my host made me do it, then I'll do it.
Oh, wait a second. Unless it's about me.
It's about you.
How far back in the chat? Because
it's happening right now.
Do I get a say in it or no? Put it on the screen and let me decide.
What is that? Are you talking about from the one about Luds?
I'm talking about all of the ones about Luds right now. Specifically about the way Luds is sitting right now.
They're giving you a hard time about your stance in the chair. That's about all I'm going to say on that because there's a lot of funny lines and John has lost his composure. You know what it is, Luds? Is because you put your computer down, right? If you had left it on your lap, nobody would have noticed it.
Noticed what? What do you mean by it?
Your stance.
Oh.
How the distance between your knees.
Well, I can't help it.
I know. Put your feet up. You like to put it on the table.
I can't reach the table.
I know it's a little farther
too far
than
away
usual.
this time.
Usually when we have the 3 or 4 chairs, it's angled so you can find that table. So
Sam has the same problem.
He does
when he's here.
Yeah, but he can always get. Well, anyway, as John has lost it, we thank you very much for joining us and for teasing a Luddy a little bit. Don't let Luds decide. Thanks, KG. Appreciate it as always. We'll be back on Monday. Have a great Sunday. Stars win 2-1 in overtime. So long, everyone.
Is that better now?
Oh my goodness. I can't find the exit thing. There it is.
We all silly like the mayor.